That's true. I can't
get a takedown notice.
I don't want to sing Spice Girls while we're broadcasting because we'll get kicked off of the YouTube
and Twitch.
Yeah.
Hey, we're live.
Are we now?
We are live to the internet.
Well, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
Uh-huh. You want a huh?
I want a huh. And then you're supposed to follow that up, and then I really want to
zigga 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 zig.
Want to zig a zig.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode number 914 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. I am your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello.
How's it going?
That's good. Why not?
Good.
Resigned to his
good?
fate.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I got nothing. I've just been really busy. Really busy.
We'll move on.
Yeah.
From the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Hi.
Hello. Is that it?
Well, I was wondering if that was it. Usually there's some sort of follow-up from you once I say hello.
Hello there. How are you?
Did you want me to just go into a shtick?
Sure.
I got a tight 7 I've been working on.
Do you really?
So how's it going tonight, everybody? Anyone here from out of town?
Doing great.
Well, let me tell you, these streaming services these days, let me tell you, it's all sorts of crazy happenings going on with these. No, it used to be you just pay for cable. Now all of a sudden I got HBO, I got Netflix, I got Hulu, I got Disney, all these things. All of a sudden, I don't know whether I'm paying for the cable or the cable's paying for me. What a country.
Wow.
We're working on it. We're workshopping it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You see that Godzilla -1 is on
Netflix.
Here,
anyway.
Is it on Netflix here in the US?
It is, yes.
Okay.
It's on there.
I obviously purchased it.
Yeah.
Via iTunes.
Yeah.
Within minutes of it becoming available, because that's just the kind of guy I am.
Is this the kind of movie that you would get on Blu-ray, or?
I would absolutely. You know what? If Toho,
is it not available on Blu-ray?
No. Well, not here.
Not yet.
Over.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Well,
it was too popular here not to be.
You would be amazed at how little Toho cares about markets outside Japan. We barely got a release of Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, but how popular was Shin Godzilla in North America?
I mean, obviously not as popular as -1, but they really don't care about our market. I mean, over in Japan, you can go buy a 4K of -1.
Yeah.
They also have 4K of Shin Godzilla, which we got a very bare bones Blu-ray release. Over there they got chock full of special features. They got the 4K version of it. Nothing here. Even the iTunes version, when you click on it from your library, it doesn't even go to like a title, like a DVD menu screen, like
screen.
Yeah, it just starts the movie right up. There's no extra stuff.
No extras.
No.
Did you check it from because sometimes they don't have a splash screen anymore. They have an entry in iTunes or whatever that you have to.
I didn't. Separately. Unless I missed something.
Okay.
Which is
maybe
is possible.
Yeah.
I am but a man.
This happened because I think I mentioned that we bought the Fall Guy after seeing the Fall Guy.
Right.
And went into I wanted to see the iTunes extras, so I clicked on the movie and it just started playing the movie.
Oh, really?
And I had to go back to the detail page and scroll down to get to the iTunes.
Well, maybe
extras.
I mean, maybe I missed something.
Yeah.
But
do you have are you running an Apple TV?
I've been running Apple TV for many years now.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I would check there.
I'll check
just in case.
It's great. I do love me the Apple TV.
Yes. Me too.
I I bought -1. I got -1 minus color
Yeah.
because, of course, they are separate releases.
Okay.
But it's and you neither of you have seen this, right?
No.
Okay.
What?
I thought Greg had.
Did you
What?
see -1?
Oh yeah, I watched
Okay.
it again today actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but no, I
So
went and saw it in
CJ,
the
you need
theater.
to watch it.
I do need to watch it.
You need
That's
to
true.
watch it.
How have you not watched that?
I don't know.
But you went and saw Fall Guy.
Yes. Yeah.
I've heard Fall Guy is fun.
It is a fun movie. I like fun movies.
I mean-
I'm sure I'll like Godzilla -1.
You know, I don't know if it's going to win any Academy Awards
Oh, it definitely won't.
like Godzilla -1,
Yeah.
Academy Award winner,
Yeah. What
but
category?
most
Special effects.
awesome badassitude.
Okay. Okay.
They got the special effects award.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the
That's
special
cool.
effects.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
I see. I'm looking at my Apple TV app on the
Yeah.
old phone here, and I'm
Yeah,
not seeing anything
okay. Well,
in terms of like extras or anything.
maybe not then.
I'm seeing a trailer.
That's an extra special feature.
That's
like
good
when-
stuff.
When DVDs first came out, and like there was a bullet point on the back of the box for animated menus.
Yeah, special feature. Theatrical trailer.
Ooh,
Animated menus.
2 things.
Whoa.
It's an embarrassment of riches.
4.3 version on other side of disc.
Oh my God, I remember that. When people were
Yeah.
too scared of letterboxing.
Is that still a thing? Are people still scared of that?
I
They
don't
aren't,
think
right?
so.
Because they have widescreen TV.
Yeah, everyone has a widescreen TV these days.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when you were watching a 235 to 1 movie on a 4:3 TV, you had a
didn't-
lot of.
I didn't buy
But,
this TV to have half the picture cut off with black bars.
It's great. Well, especially if you had like a like you and I did with small TVs like in your room when you were growing
Oh,
up.
Yeah,
DVD player hooked up.
that's
I
right.
had my Laserdisc player hooked up to my 12-inch TV or my 13-inch TV.
Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Dustin McKenzie
Mm-hmm.
in the chat. Now they're scared of bars on the sides of the screen, which
Ah, yes.
yeah, and that's when we run into the problem of taking shows filmed for
Yeah.
4:3,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
if
then
you go
just
watch Seinfeld on any of the
zooming in
streaming
on
services.
those.
Well, Seinfeld on streaming services, it runs it in 16:9.
That's
Yeah, they
exactly what I
re-
was referencing. Yeah.
But if you watch, if you happen to catch your Frasier or your Cheers, you get 4:3
It was like
or The Simpsons.
when Disney Plus put up The Simpsons originally, it was the cropped versions to make it 16:9,
Right. Yeah.
and then you end up losing a bunch
good
of visual
portion.
gags and stuff.
Image. Yeah. Oh, I like on Seinfeld. Monk's, the restaurant,
Yes.
the coffee shop that they always go to.
Yes.
It's actually named something else, like the real restaurant, like the shots of the restaurant. It's Tom's Restaurant in New
Okay.
York. And occasionally on a few episodes of the 16:9 version,
Yeah.
because they just are reframing the shots,
Right.
you can see the whole name of the restaurant. It's very clearly Tom's Restaurant.
Oh, is it really?
On some of the cuts, it's just like, couldn't you have just fixed that a little bit?
No.
Apparently not.
Nope.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that was good stuff. Remember having to flip over or change out laser discs?
oh,
No,
not me.
yeah, I didn't own a laser.
Well, I had an auto flipping.
I wasn't one of the poor
Oh,
I had an auto
who
flipping
didn't have the auto flip.
laser disc
Yes.
player.
Yes, my Laserdisc player did have the auto flip as well.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. You
Technology.
kidding?
Is there anything technology cannot do?
I mean, an auto flipping laserdisc player though, like that'd be pretty huge, right? Because it had to be as tall as it was wide.
Yeah,
so-
well,
yeah.
because the big
Yeah.
hand just kind of rotates it around inside the unit,
That's right.
and it made all those kind of cartoonish machine grinding sound
yeah.
effects.
Oh, I'd hope so. Yeah. It's like having those CD
Transformer.
changers. That,
Yeah.
Man, I always wanted one of those.
Oh, with
Oh
like
yeah.
100 disc.
The 100-disc CD jukeboxes.
Yeah.
Or the
Every now
ones
and then
that
one will pop up on like Marketplace on Facebook, and I'm just like, no, why would I buy that? But I really
Or-
want to.
or the ones that were like the carousel of like 6. that
Oh
were
yeah,
the-
the 5-disc.
Oh, yeah,
changers.
yeah, the 5-disc changer.
Yeah.
You'd hit eject, and it would just kind of spit out this circular, this lazy Susan
Turntable,
of
yeah.
CDs.
I want to get one of those CD jute boxes like in the beginning of Akira.
Fancy.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, should we get to some video game news?
I don't know. I'm enjoying talking about laser discs and Godzilla.
This has been fun. Yeah, my first Laserdisc purchase was Tron.
Oh, okay.
The special edition of Tron, the big old box.
Right.
I didn't actually have a Laserdisc player yet. I just bought it because I was like, I want that.
Did you buy it with the intention of getting a Laserdisc player one day?
Yeah. Oh, of
Okay.
course. Yes.
Okay.
So all I could do is stare at the box and just lovingly touch
Tell me
Be
more.
alone,
the
or-
booklet and
Yeah, oh,
No.
tell me
PJ,
more.
slow down.
like
I'll never reach the end of line with you, my Tron Laserdisc.
exactly. And the one deleted scene,
What was the?
there's one deleted scene on
I don't
Tron.
know if
think
I know
it's on
about
the
this.
DVD set too.
No.
But it's when they go back to, I forget the female character's name. I forget everybody's name but Tron.
Jesus.
Anyway, they go back to her apartment
Uh-huh.
and she it's sort of a romantic scene, and
Right.
she does this there's this lights show in her apartment that lights up, and she looks like she's wearing a gown and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course the MCP shows up and they leave.
Oh.
The MCP is a real cock blocker.
Jesus.
Wow. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Wait, was it the M? It's been a minute since I've seen Tron.
Yeah, I
The
forget
original.
who shows up. I forget what shows up. But they
Wasn't
leave
the
the
M-
apartment very quickly. There's no
Wasn't the MCP just like the big face? Like the
Yes.
giant like spinning top with the face
Yeah.
on it?
Yeah, and you had Sark
Yeah.
and
Oh, suddenly he remembers everyone's names.
except for anybody on the good side's name. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was the first Laserdisc I bought.
Okay. I don't remember the first Laserdisc I bought.
No?
I remember the first DVD I bought, but not the first Laserdisc.
What was
What
the
was the
first
first-
DVD you bought?
Yeah, first DVD.
I don't remember.
You said.
I lied. No. It was 2. I bought 2 at the same time.
I did
bought
that too.
the DVDs of the first Ranma 1/2 movie,
That's an
which
excellent
was that Ni Hao My Concubine, or was that the second one?
choice. I think that was the second one.
Okay. I forget the subtitle of the first Ranma movie.
It was something like Big Trouble in.
oh, that's
something.
right.
That's what it
in
was.
Nekon
Yeah.
Long China. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought that, and I bought Spice World for my first 2
My
DVD
first-
purchases.
My first 2 were Scream
Okay.
and Contact.
Oh, okay.
Double
think-
feature.
My first 2 were The Postman, because it came with the DVD player I bought,
Okay.
and I think Dark City.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good choice.
Dark City is a great movie.
It is.
Nice.
Absolutely. And that's
My
our
first
show for this
Laserdisc,
week.
I don't remember what it was, but I know I bought it like in the last 5 or 6 years, because I didn't have a Laserdisc player until I got the Laser Active.
Oh.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
it was, I got it, and now when you go to buy those on like eBay, you usually buy them in bundles. So
Right.
Yeah.
There is, Greg, if you're ever out in the Seattle area, there is a used record shop here in town where I'm at that has a crap ton of old laser discs.
yeah,
And I will happily take you there. And
How
can
many of those
spend-
have laser rot?
I didn't check
Probably
all of them.
I mean, I have probably about 15 that I've bought in the last few years, and there was only one that isn't
Is that
in
right?
great shape, but it's still playable.
Oh, wow.
All right.
There were
Okay.
certain manufacturers, the very, very, very earliest ones
Yeah.
are bad because they were just made really cheaply, I think. But
Okay.
you know, when you get into like the 90s, the 80s and 90s, I think they're actually pretty decent. The late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
But I have the box set of The Abyss and Aliens, which were two of the ones that I really wanted.
Oh, yeah.
When
Those are good.
I do remember when in the, I guess, yeah, it would have been in the late 90s, my roommates and I actually ended up renting a Laserdisc player with Aliens because it was the director's cut.
Mhm.
And I think the Star Wars discs, so we could dub them onto VHS. Probably a few others too, but I remember the Aliens director's cut. We wanted it because we wanted to see the director's cut of Aliens because I think that was the only way you could see it back then.
Yeah.
I think the same with The Abyss.
I think the same with The Abyss. Yeah, that was probably another one we rented.
Yeah, which is a great movie.
And that Laserdisc of The Abyss and Aliens probably have better quality video than the 4K
AI
re-releases.
upscaled version. Yeah.
I know they had at least one of them has the entire shooting script
Oh, is that right?
that you go through frame by frame on the disc.
That's pretty good. That's
it's very Laserdisc, right?
Oh,
extremely
absolutely.
Laserdisc.
Uh,
Well, this has been a great Laserdisc corner, Laserdisc and DVD corner. But let's get to some video game news because there's actually kind of a few things to talk about.
okay.
I guess we should kick it off by celebrating the Game of the Year 2024.
Oh, absolutely.
Astro Bot.
I thought
Yep.
you said you're going to say Concord.
No, Astro Bot.
Oh, my
From,
goodness.
Team Asobi finally announced it. This was the last thing shown in the state of play from last week.
And strong, they know.
They ended very strong. Yes.
Weirdly enough, was the last thing shown, but the first thing worth seeing
Come on.
in the state of play.
Come on, Craig.
I'm just saying what Phil's thinking.
Wow. But they showed a
Now, how
Dynasty
dare you
Warriors game
presume?
before that.
Am I wrong?
I didn't say that. How dare you presume? No, you're you know what? You are wrong because they snuck a Dynasty Warrior game in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. They
Yeah.
sure did.
Yeah.
But getting back to Astrobot, comes out in
Yeah.
September, so not too long to wait.
Nope.
Very excited about it. It is a standard PS5 game, not PSVR 2.
Why would they lock
You know
it?
how surprised I am by that?
Not at all.
0.
Yeah.
You know what they should do
What's that?
is give all the PSVR 2 owners a version of the previous game for free.
Well,
one
they
that just
can't
works
do
for
that
PSVR 2.
because it used the PlayStation camera in ways that the PSVR 2 cannot do.
How?
And the light bar on the controller. The light bar on the controller it used.
Well, that can't be replicated with the PSVR 2 motion controller.
Well, that would require Sony to make
yeah,
some
see,
effort.
you're describing what I just said I wanted. I get that you can't
that's
just
not
give,
gonna
give
happen.
us that game and it's going to work.
No.
Yeah.
Thing.
I
Give
mean,
us
it
an
would be
updated
great.
version that would work with PSVR 2.
It would be fantastic, but
So we agree.
it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Instead, we will just have to deal with Astrobot, which I'm very excited about because apparently it is the biggest game that they've done to date. Something like 80 levels,
Yep.
6 galaxies,
Yep.
and the trailer had an amazing song in it too. I was very happy about that.
All music in the Astrobot games are
They've
some of the best video game music.
They've really set themselves up though. They gotta knock it out of the park again because of exactly that. The last 2 Astrobot games have had stellar soundtracks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you got some new bosses. You got some new gameplay types. We saw
You got-
Astro use
You got
a
some old bosses
DualSense.
too.
What?
I noticed like some of those bosses are kind of versions of
Yeah,
like
they're older
updated
bosses.
versions of bosses from the VR game.
Yes. Some new abilities. We saw Astro do a little punching with some Hulk hands,
Yep.
and he rides a DualSense ship
Yep.
as well. Like it looks like a little bit of a Star Fox ish
It does.
thing going on there.
Kind of swelling up like a sponge at one point.
Yeah,
Yeah, he goes all SpongeBob there.
Yeah.
yeah, really, really good. And this is just called Astro Bot. No subtitle. This is sort of a. It sounds like this is a prequel or like an origin. They want to introduce the world to Astro Bot.
I think this is more of a. We're not messing around anymore. This isn't a product demo. This isn't some VR diversion.
That's right. This isn't a playroom. No rescue mission.
This is the start of the true Astrobot journey.
The whole
but
thing.
They're definitely still sticking with the whole product demo type thing. Obviously, I mean, he's riding the DualSense controller, and you got the PS5 there, and I think in that scene you can also see a bunch of other old PlayStation hardware in the background.
Yeah, there's the one like right before, like when he turns into or is piloting like the big PS5 ship. Yeah, there's like one shot right before they go into light speed where you see just like every PlayStation peripheral pull up with a little Astrobot piloting it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It looks great. And apparently, what did I read? 150 PlayStation cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're really, it's interesting. Like we were talking about this at dinner last night, where I wonder if they're gonna make them more central to the story. Because before they were just cameos, like, and they didn't even really, they didn't market them in any way. They were just there. You discovered them, right? And now it seems like there was a lot of time spent in that trailer focusing on them.
Yeah, it's kind of the vibe where like maybe you will become those little different
or
versions
like that.
Yeah,
but more consequential. It seems.
There is a line in the PlayStation blog entry about this game that says, "And who knows? Maybe this time these characters will play an even bigger part in saving the day."
Yeah.
Well, then they do. They might just be partner characters or something, but
yeah.
Because before all you really saw was they were just cute little animations that were locked in place. And,
little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm very excited too.
So excited.
This is going to be on some Game of the Year lists, right?
It's already on Phil's.
Yeah.
It's not even out
now.
Yet.
It's not a question of if it makes it. It's now everything else going to be compared to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is something will have to go catastrophically wrong for this to not be my Game of the Year. And I can't imagine a world in which that happens.
Yeah.
If I may be a bit vulnerable for a minute.
Please go ahead.
So obviously, I watched the State of Play at work. Was very excited by that final trailer.
Yeah.
Come home later that evening. I'm like, you know what? I want to watch this on the big screen. I want to watch the big trailer. So I loaded up on the YouTubes. Dana is sitting next to me on the couch watching it as well. And right towards the end of the trailer, she looks over at me and she just says, "Oh my God, are you crying?" And I was
no.
I mean, just maybe a little, maybe just a little.
Shedding a tear.
I'm so excited. It warms my heart.
It's going to be good, right?
Yeah.
No way it's not.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
I'm very, very excited about it. I hope it does really well.
Yeah.
Because it deserves to. Astro Bot deserves to be a hit.
Well, that's why they didn't put it on the VR.
Your best friend Mike and I and our other friend Jim, again, we're having dinner last night and talking about the whole showcase, and it feels like they're finally looking like they're ready to make Astro Bot a major franchise.
Yeah.
Which feels like it's taken way too long to happen. But it also, I think Mike was the one who said it feels like it's been kind of organic too, where they didn't come out and say, because I mean, if you remember, like Astro Bot, it was just like a PlayStation camera demo,
right?
Yeah,
back in the day, right? So like, there's never been a point where Sony has come out and said like, this is our new guy.
Oh yeah,
mascots don't mean anything anymore,
right?
But it just feels like we had one fun experience with the camera. I mean, it was very creative, and then we had the again, the PSVR thing, it was all about a tech demo, really. It's
Yep.
about showing that you can make a good platformer in VR, and the same with the last one. So yeah, it's taken too long. I hope that this turns into something that we start getting multiple sequels of.
Yeah,
that would be great.
As long as they can maintain the creativity, obviously.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. But very excited about it. September 6th is when that comes out.
Can't wait.
Rewinding a little bit, let's rewind to the beginning. They kicked off the state of play with a new game from Firewalk Studios. This we knew about
Overwatch.
this. This was revealed last year in a showcase. They said they were making a multiplayer PvP game in a sci-fi universe. They just showed off. It was a teaser trailer. It was nothing.
Oh.
And so now they've come back with the state of play, showing a cinematic trailer and a gameplay trailer of Concord, a 5v5 first-person shooter.
Guardians
I was
of the
mildly
Overwatch.
interested in it until I saw it was a 5v5 team
Right.
shooter.
But they are, I mean, they said it was Concord, and it had already been announced that this was a 5v5.
I didn't.
You didn't remember that part.
No, I don't. I'm assuming I never saw the original teaser, or if I did, it just
Went right out.
Off it.
yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about the cinematic trailer
I'm
that they showed
Overwatch
first.
them up.
They
Thank you
showed-
again, Dustin.
They showed that first, and so you liked what you saw in that.
I mean, it
CG
looked
trailer.
like warmed over Guardians of the Galaxy, which
It did.
is obviously what everyone is comparing it to, and obvious.
I mean,
For
that
sure.
one character in particular, the one they were the guy with the green skin.
Right.
God, the model looks
Lennox.
just like the characters in Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy. I mean,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
the face looks like it was the same person who modeled it, or the same people who modeled it.
But yeah, I mean, yes, it looked like we have Guardians of the Galaxy at home. But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm down for a wacky space romp.
Sure,
not?
who isn't?
Sign me up. And then it's like, oh, it's
It's a multiplayer game.
like fake Overwatch. Okay, well, never mind.
The fake Overwatch thing, I'm interested in that because they said that it's a 5v5 game, which obviously Overwatch is now 5v5. It was 6v6.
Okay.
But this game is an extraction shooter. It's not a like push
Explain
the
that,
payload
please.
Yeah, I don't.
or a deathmatch game. It is basically you're fighting over. It's sort of capture the flag, except you're capturing the item and returning it to your own goal.
How's that
not capture the
question?
flag?
How's that not capture the flag?
Okay.
How's that sort of capture the
Well,
flag?
it's not
I guess
actually
you're
a
right.
flag, you understand. You can't
Guess you're
capture a flag if there ain't no flag.
Okay, but instead, like the two team, there's not two flags. There's one, right?
Okay.
You can capture the flag. You have a base.
Okay, so there's one MacGuffin that the
There's
entire...
one MacGuffin that the entire 5v5 is
Now I
fighting
get it.
over.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And bringing back and extracting with. So yeah, there isn't a lot of that on console yet. Extraction shooters are a bigger thing on PC, and I mean we've had a couple big extraction shooters, like the Finals is an extraction shooter, but yeah, there's not really like a big console franchise for that. So the comparisons to Overwatch, we really don't know what this game plays like yet. We saw gameplay footage, very sort of scripted.
Looks like it plays like
scene,
Overwatch.
Yeah.
which looked like Overwatch, but we don't know exactly like anything about the modes or much about the characters' abilities or anything like that. So yeah, it may play like Overwatch. It may not. Like just because it's a shooter doesn't mean it's exactly going to be the gameplay of Overwatch. And from what they were describing and what we saw with them, you know, snatching a payload and extracting with it. Wow, I just said payload when Overwatch has payloads too.
Weird. What an odd Freudian slip.
I know.
Yeah.
So we'll have to learn more about it. And there's going to be a beta in July, and it comes out in August on both PC and PlayStation.
I mean, they're definitely, even if it's not exactly like Overwatch, they're definitely following that same format pretty closely. Like even with the weekly animations, right? Like were they talking weekly or monthly? Whatever it was.
Weekly, which is something that other shooters have done. Apex
really?
Legends does that as well.
had no
Yeah,
idea.
I mean, it's not only an Overwatch thing to do that, but yes.
Okay. It feels like Overwatch. I guess as someone who isn't paying attention to all these ones, Overwatch is the one I know about that did that sort of thing. So I guess maybe they were one of the most successful at it. But yeah, I mean, it looks, for what it is, it does look good. My disinterest in it is not to make it sound like I think it looks bad. It just doesn't look like something I'm going to play.
Well, and Firewalk is a studio with former Bungie and Call of Duty devs. So my feeling on it is probably going to play pretty well.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's probably going to play well. So I guess we'll see. And yeah, they are trying to do the weekly story thing, which will be interesting to see how that whole thing evolves. Yeah, but I've seen a lot of people complain on the internet, because it's the internet. People complain that, this should be free to play, because a lot of shooters are free to play. And just thinking about it, it's like, I thought we were done with free to play. I thought people didn't want free to play. And now you're asking for this game to be free to play? You want this game to be free to play? Like, why exactly?
So it's free.
So it's free, and you don't have to spend any money on playing one game and then abandoning it.
And you don't want it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, it's a shooter. That genre is too full. There's too many shooters. And
I mean, in that situation, there's as many shooters as the market can handle, right? I mean,
right.
You can say there's too many, but if this comes out and builds a good audience, then I guess there wasn't too many.
But the other thing is, it doesn't really matter that there's too much of one particular genre. Does that mean that genre shouldn't be explored further? Or that
are the people saying that the people who just don't want to play this game?
I think that may be.
I would imagine.
Well,
yeah.
So
I
it
think
doesn't
that
mean
may
anything.
be what it is.
Yeah.
There are only so many games permitted per genre.
Yeah. That I don't care about.
That's why Like a Dragon turned out there were too many beat 'em ups out there. Yeah. So they had to switch to RPG.
There you go.
Because the video game police
nobody's complaining that there's too many Souls-like games out there.
Well, wait until
roguelikes.
One comes out that people
I complain about it.
Too many roguelikes. Can't do that anymore. Too many of them. Too many deck builders. Stop it already with the deck builders. No. But yeah, just the reaction to this, we don't know anything about the gameplay, and people are already like, that game, this is going to fail. It's going to be the worst thing. It's like, you're not even looking at the pedigree of the studio, and the fact that Sony like canceled three other multiplayer games, and this is one that survived.
I love that you're sitting here saying how the people who are making these complaints should be thinking more rationally. Like,
I am saying that.
It's not what they care about.
Yeah, but like the thread internet, on Resetera, which is a fun microcosm of just the internet, right? And it's a lot of hate in that thread. And it just reminds me of the PlayStation Portal thread a year ago.
Oh my goodness.
Where everybody was so down on that thing, and now the NPD group, it's the most successful peripheral of 2024.
For someone who's been on the internet for 30 years, it seems like you've never been on the internet. That's all I'm saying.
It reminds me, every time this sort of thing happens, it reminds me of, there's a thread on macrumors.com, which is an Apple fan community. And when the iPod was announced, there is a thread of all these Apple fans saying that Apple shouldn't waste their time with this. MP3 players already exist.
Well, they were wrong on that part.
And, well, no, they were not wrong. And that this is going to be terrible and flop, etc. And it's just so funny to like go back and read that, and then with the hindsight, or the benefit of seeing how successful the iPod was, just kind of see how silly those opinions were. And I feel like Concord could be in that same situation. We have to see more about the gameplay, get that thing in open beta. what people think of the actual gameplay instead of what they've presented so far.
Can I ask you a question, CJ?
Please do.
And note that this question is 100% out of ignorance, because I am not someone who plays these games. I've played a bit of Overwatch.
I played Overwatch. I loved Overwatch after it launched.
Doesn't click with me because I'm not into shooters. I'm not into team shooters.
Yeah.
Fortnite didn't click with me. Overwatch doesn't click with me.
Yep.
That sort of thing. Now, when you say, and again, I stress my ignorance on this subject, but when you say we need to see more about the gameplay, what is it about the gameplay that, because when I watched the trailer for that, it looked like, every other, you're in an arena, you have your teammates, you got one person sniping, you got one person running around healing, you got one person tanking it up. What?
Tankity tank.
What are we going to learn that could possibly sway?
Well, nothing is going to sway you.
Well, no, I'm not.
I think you already know. He's talking about people who would normally play these games.
Yes.
People who would normally play these games.
What is it when you say we need to find out more about the gameplay? What new information could we get that's going to make like a difference in this kind of scenario?
Well, I think the play style of all the characters is potentially interesting. If they have different loadouts that you can choose, that would vary the play style of each one even more.
Okay.
They mentioned in the state of play that some characters have abilities that they can lay something down that will persist over matches, so it won't just be there for one match, it'll be there for multiple, and you can close off different areas, different access points to make pinch points on the map, and those persist as well. So it's that kind of thing, right?
Okay.
See what the team compositions are. Are they forced
tell me
into a certain kind of competition? What?
Tell me more about pinch points.
Pinch points.
Tell it kind of slowly.
Yeah. But anyway, I am looking forward to seeing more about Concord. And you already know that I love crappy multiplayer games, and I'm going to talk about at least.
What if this one turns out to be good
later?
How do you feel about good multiplayer games?
I like good multiplayer games.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll find out more about Concord. I'm not ready to write it off. A lot of people on the internet are.
Right.
Here's one that a lot of people on the internet probably already wrote off before even seeing any gameplay. Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Well, I mean, that's par for the course for that entire series. Don't think I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
I just accept it and just say, oh, you know what? More copies for me, I guess.
Your favorite characters from history. Favorite historical warriors.
Lu Bu, baby. Somehow Lu Bu returned.
What's your impression of Dynasty Warriors Origins? They seem to, be going back to basics a little bit.
No, I mean,
in this,
it looks like a more technically advanced like Dynasty Warriors.
Technically proficient Dynasty Warriors.
Look, here's like 1,000 dudes running around on the screen
with 1,000 arrows that are also flaming.
Yep. And I'll run through and I'll slash, and I'll have fun with it.
It looks fun. Actually, it looks fun.
It's always looked fun. It's always looked fun. It's your prejudging.
Well,
that has prevented
it would be better if Link was in this.
Oh, see, there it is.
See?
Yeah.
Always comes back around to that.
Yep.
If
only the Thundercats were in it, I'd enjoy it more.
Oh man, if only.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about it, I gotta say.
Yeah.
That's.
I hope you enjoy it.
I hope I do too.
I'm a little surprised.
Surprised to what?
That you're interested in it.
Yeah.
Because you've only ever seemed to be interested in the Warriors franchise.
If there's a good license attached.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about this, it looked more up my.
Like if you were super into One Piece, I bet you would have gone nuts
Well, I played a little bit of the One Piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really love that.
Well, that's because you're not into One Piece, are you?
Not into it enough, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were into
Well,
Gundam, I'll tell you
yeah.
what, I know nothing about Gundam, but those Dynasty Warrior Gundam games were pretty fun.
Okay.
I enjoyed those.
Hmm.
But yes, I am all in on Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Silent Hill 2, the remake?
Looks like Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was getting a lot of flack for character, the look and animation.
Oh Christ!
Oh, yeah.
I can't even deal with that because there's this whole weird subgroup of people on the internet that the second they see any woman in a video game, there's like a whole conversation about how she's not pretty enough, and I just can't even deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly that is
Internet weirdos are really getting to me lately.
that does kind of seem to be
Yeah, well, they swarmed over Concord.
Yeah.
And
They
everything
swarm over
about
everything.
the state of play. And then did you hear about the developer of Tales of Kanzara Zao
No.
getting toxicity
what?
on the internet? Yeah. Tales of Kanzara Zao is a game that was on PS Plus in April, I think. But they used that firm Sweet Baby Inc. that goes over.
Right. So it's automatically
Okay. Yeah.
Goes
It's a trigger
over
for
the
these
script
people
to make sure
immediately.
there's nothing that would offend any particular group. And then, of course, the existence of that company and anyone who used that company is now deemed bad.
Yeah. I was struck by this. This was probably about a month ago when I watched this. But of course, anytime and I don't get too deep into this because it's such a stupid subject. But you have this subset of people who go on about wokeness and ruining video games and things like that. But there was a great documentary done by Norm over at Gaming Historian for Oregon Trail, which I recommended on this show ages ago. I don't know if you guys actually did go watch it, but that was made in the 70s, I believe. And there's a point where they're talking to one of the men who made it, who he basically said that even back then, there were some things that were coming back from the various school districts that they wanted to change because they didn't want it to be offensive. They wanted to be more inclusive. There was a lot of terminology, especially when it came to anything to do with Native Americans in the original version of that game that they decided to change because they wanted to be more inclusive. That was the 70s. That was the 70s.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
Yeah.
It just struck me. It's like, oh, wow, wait a minute. This isn't a recent thing. As most of us who are rational know, this has always been the way it is. It's just the way it is.
Well, toxicity on the internet is just absolutely out of control.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the devs of Tales of Kanzara Zao, especially because they're getting flack.
Yeah, because you're getting drawn into this bullshit that has nothing to do with anything that you're doing or the art you're creating. And it's just like, it's so exhausting. It's exhausting to watch from the outside. Yeah. I can't even imagine my life or career being affected by it.
No, exactly. All right, well, back to the state of play. We got a glimpse of Monster Hunter Wilds. They showed off gameplay of that for the first time. I think the notable thing is you have a mount now that you can actually call and whistle at, and it'll come and pick you up. Like if a monster knocks you back and you're struggling to get up, you can do a little whistle. Your animal companion comes and scoops you up and runs off. That's pretty cool.
I don't know anything about the Monster Hunter games.
As somebody who played, I played Monster Hunter Rise all the way to the end and enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm probably going to be in for Monster Hunter Wilds.
I want to say Mark McDonald was really into Monster Hunter.
Oh, really? Oh yeah. All the 8.4
big time
folks.
Oh, are the 8.4 guys are
into Monster Hunter? Yeah,
I've tried and just it never clicked with me.
It didn't click with me until Rise.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think Wilds should be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got some PSVR 2 stuff, the Alien Rogue
Right?
Incursion game, and what is it?
I will try
Behemoth?
that because it's Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
I mean,
too spooky for me.
It's really, yeah. I was really excited to see it though.
That was just a teaser. There really was no gameplay shown of anything of that. And then Behemoth looks interesting. I don't know.
I don't remember how it looked. How
Kind
did
of prefer playing on the Quest 3 now, though. I mean, I like the PSVR 2 a lot, but the amount of games that have come out for it exclusively is just it's minimal.
Yeah.
And so I find myself mostly playing on Quest. So if these eventually
yeah,
come to Quest,
because it's really, I mean, if you don't own both of them, I guess that obviously makes a difference. But
yeah,
having a Quest, it's so convenient. Not that the PSVR 2
convenient.
isn't convenient, but even having to be tethered by that one cable,
yeah,
is enough that it's like I just or I could just pull this headset on and everything works. And
yeah.
Yeah.
And the difference in lens quality from what the PSVR 2 has to the Quest 3 is
I haven't experienced that.
Night and day. It's great. Oh, but anyway, yeah, we got Marvel Rivals. You want Overwatch? That is Overwatch.
Marvel Rivals, yeah, that
Marvel
looked pretty
characters.
cool only because it was Marvel. Again,
Yeah.
I don't think it's something I'll play, but it did look good.
Well, it's gonna be a free to play game, so you could play it if you wanted.
I've heard people don't want free to play games,
I've heard that too.
except for all the people who want free to play games.
Except for all the people who want free to play games, yeah, who want the microtransactions. You see that Infinity Nikki trailer?
Oh, yeah. That's the anime one, yeah?
That's the anime one.
Yeah.
I don't even know what is happening in that trailer, but but yeah. So yeah, that's about it for the state of play. Unless you guys saw something you wanted.
No, I
to
mean, you
mention.
covered the two main things that I was even excited about are just the fact that it's an Alien anything
Yeah.
No.
for the PSVR 2, and I mean Astro Bot.
Yeah.
Like again, not that I didn't think the rest of the stuff looked good. It did look good. It's
Sure.
just they weren't showing games that I'm interested in playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is okay. You don't have to be interested in every game, right? That's another thing that it would be good if the internet calmed down a little. You don't have to. Every game doesn't have to be for you.
The hell you say?
All right. Let's see. Oh, Tomba Special Edition. We're getting. I think this had been announced before that Limited Run was assisting in bringing back Tomba.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
PlayStation
think it
1
has been.
classic game, and it's coming out on August 1st for PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC. So you'll finally get to play Whoopi Camp's
For as much
classic
as
platformer.
I like to crap on Limited Run,
Mm.
I am really thankful that they're doing stuff like this. Like they are facilitating some of this older stuff coming back, or
No.
Totally.
that's great. That's really
Yeah.
great. Tomba's cool.
Tomba
I
is
think
good.
Tomba's
I feel
cool.
like Tomba's an acquired taste, though.
Yeah.
Like if you
Absolutely.
just because it's so easy, especially since now it's 30 years old. Well, more than 30 years old. It's
Yeah.
real easy, I feel like, to jump into
97.
it expecting jump into it. Yeah, sorry, less than 30 years old, almost 30 years old. Jumped into it expecting sort of a classic platformer. And I don't really feel like that describes Tomba properly. I mean, the
Right.
gameplay is close to that, but there's definitely some RPG elements in there. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's all about these little mini quests.
Right.
In this, it's not an open world, but it kind of feels open world in a way because you're constantly doubling back and going alternate routes. It's very cool, but it's not like if you're expecting it to be like sort of the 2.5D platformers we were getting in the day, like Pandemonium or something like that. That's not what it is,
Right.
but it's cool. It's
Bunch
fun. It's interesting that it's
I
coming
heard
back. 'Cause
Pandemonium fans are suddenly really depressed. Oh,
Just the
man.
worst thing I could think of. Wild Nines and the
Klonoa.
2.5D platformer. Klonoa, yeah. There
There you go.
Yeah. What's that again? Who makes that? Namco.
Namco. Namco game.
Bandai Namco. Yeah. Alrighty, and then we got the announcement for the Lego Deku Tree.
Yes.
$300. There's like a dual set to it, right? It's
yes.
either the deco
two
tree
in one.
from Breath of the Wild or from Ocarina of Time. Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't build them simultaneously. You got to choose.
You must choose.
Yes.
Which one will you choose, Phil?
I will be. So first of all, why would you think I'm going to buy this?
Because you're Phil.
Because you're Phil.
I'm going to be making the Ocarina of Time one.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
a real
fun.
Deku tree. Thank you.
The real one.
Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
And I don't think I'll be buying it. $300. I don't think so. No.
Maybe they'll release a miniature version of it at some point.
Maybe so. But I wanted to mention this for Greg. We're getting Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. I don't know if
it's been coming out for ages.
It was originally announced in 2020.
Yeah.
And I guess it's finally coming out this year. What do you think? Did you watch the trailer?
I watched it in 2020. Test Drive Unlimited, it never did much for me, but I know that there are people there's like a hardcore fan base for those games. Like it's a cool idea. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might try it. I'm not super excited that it's actually happening, but I mean, great to see that it's back from the dead, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
haven't got much else to say about that.
Alrighty, well, I guess that means we are at What You've Been Playing land, and we are gonna kick that off with Phil.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'll briefly mention I played a little more Ichiban, a little more Infinite Wealth this week.
Oh wait, is this our Yakety Yakuza section?
Yep.
Yakety Yakuza. Nice.
I won't go too much into it, but I did play an amusing side quest where you meet a hardcore otaku.
Yeah.
The kind of stereotypical anime nerd.
All the women in the game don't look pretty enough.
Well, not that kind.
Oh, sorry.
The kind who is obsessed with Japan and Japanese culture, and he witnesses Ichiban saving the day, helping out some poor woman who was getting accosted by some creeps, and he runs up very excited to meet a real Japanese man who carries the spirit of a samurai with him. And turns out he's filming a TV show, and he follows you around, and he says, we'll take you out for a meal, and we've got some delicious Hawaiian food here, or you can have a cold bowl of traditional Japanese rice. Which would you choose? And if I went for, like some roast pig or something, because it was the most delicious looking, and he got very sad but you're from Japan. You need to have the plain rice. And he's wearing his shirt with just some Japanese writing on it, and he's got Japanese characters tattooed on his arms. And I busted out because I was like, those tattoos are going to say something stupid. They're going to be some sort of
they have to, right?
It's going to be nonsense. So I busted out the old Google Translate.
Yeah.
And sure enough, one of them just says like mosquito coil.
Oh.
Like those little like incest incense that you burn.
Yeah.
And then the other one, and I had to kind of look up what it meant, because I was like, okay, the Google Translate is giving me kind of a very literal translation of this, but it's very clear that it means something else to a native speaker.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something like a 3-person meeting or something like that. And I looked it up, and apparently the context is something like if you're having like a parent-teacher conference. So
that's amazing.
So he's just got like parent-teacher conference tattooed on his arm because it's in.
So then you ran out to get that tattoo as well.
Yeah. I mean, it again,
Dana's never going to see.
Dana's sitting next to me watching me play this, and the two of us are cracking up at just how ridiculous and comical this whole mini quest was. And I was just like, yeah, I kind of want to go get those tattooed on my arms right now. So I set up an appointment next weekend.
There you go.
I'm going to be in there doing that. But it's pretty. It's a good game. That's a good game.
It is.
But yes, so I'm continuing to play Infinite Wealth. I noticed you did not play any this week, CJ.
I did not.
Have you abandoned
I
the Way of
shouldn't
the
say
Samurai?
that I didn't play. I did play a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
To the point where should I say what I did?
Sure, why not?
I went on a date with Psycoach with Sachan.
Okay.
And it was pretty interesting. It was
You had a big dramatic story moment, did you?
dramatic story moment.
Yep.
Going on a date with one of the main characters. It was great.
Date ended well, I assume.
Oh, yeah, of course it ended in a marriage proposal.
Isn't that how they all end?
You know how first dates go. But I haven't played anymore after that.
Yeah, so you're still in
I'm
Japan,
at the very
then,
beginning.
so.
Yeah,
Yes.
very beginning.
Yes. Oh boy. What a game.
I did switch my language to Japanese.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well then you will run into the the novelty of everyone in Hawaii also speaks Japanese. But
yes, I can't
okay.
wait.
Suspension of disbelief, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I also I didn't put this on my list, but I got into a Rogue Legacy 2 mood this week. So I've been playing a little more Rogue Legacy 2. I haven't played it in a little while, so I was kind of dipping back into it. It's one of my little comfort games. I love the Rogue Legacy. I've been playing a bit of that.
Yeah.
But the real star of this week is, of course, the latest Nintendo Switch release from the good folks at Jupiter. And I refer, of course, to Picross S Namco Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
Namco Picross is now here, the counterpart to their Sega Picross that came out a while ago. Except now, instead of making classic Sega sprites in that trademark Picross style, we're now revisiting some of Namco's classic arcade hits.
Yes.
From ye olden days.
Lovable characters like the point readout for a game that you never played.
Namco had some obscure old arcade games.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
They weren't all Pac-Man and Dig Dug.
Well, why not? Why not?
You got to fill out those puzzles somehow.
I guess.
You know?
You got to have that score readout. Puzzle, okay.
It's the Rally X flag.
I thought that was a good one.
I really hope that was like a 30 by 30 that took you half an hour to make. Because that would be hilarious.
And I enjoy a good game of Rally X, make no mistake.
Yeah.
But it's a Jupiter developed Picross game, which they have the formula perfected.
Yes, they certainly do.
At this point, they've had it perfected for years now. So, no problems there.
Except they're slipping.
I love me.
They're slipping.
I love me some old school Namco.
Me too.
So it's a lot of fun revealing those old school sprites. But what?
I'm just waiting for the next part. Waiting for the butt.
Yeah.
Oh, you're waiting for the butt.
Waiting for your big butt, Phil.
You want to see the big butt?
Yep. I want to experience your big butt.
Oh boy. There is a butt. There is a big butt on this one. And CJ knows what it is. And I've seen a lot of other people complaining about this.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That music. Because
it's not Sega music.
As we saw with the Sega game, playing playing Picross while there's some classic Outrun music. Or some,
Perfect.
what was it, Afterburner maybe? Hang On?
Yeah.
Some classic Sega tunes. Great. Playing Picross with old, like 1982 era Namco arcade tunes.
Well, apparently, actually, they're the NES versions of the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it don't work.
It don't work. No,
It
it does
don't work
not.
at all. I'm sitting there trying to work on some, 20 by 20, 20 by 30 Picross puzzle, which requires, some thought, some concentration.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the better ones.
I know. And again, boy, do I love Mappy. I love.
But I mean, that's the issue you've got when you're running a loop from a game that's meant to last about 3 minutes.
That's exactly it.
On a puzzle that's taking you half an hour.
Yep. And CJ, I know you pointed this out too, but it's like, the sound balancing is really off. Like,
it's
that's
terrible.
too bad.
Even if you go into the sound menu and like lower, because they have separate sliders for the sound effects and music.
Yeah.
And even if you lower the music, maybe it's just the nature of.
And again, you were imitating the most listenable track.
I know.
There's five, I believe, like five background.
There are six.
Six. Okay,
There are six.
But there's maybe only one or two that are listenable. And the rest are like.
Is there a Dig Dug one in there that only actually plays when you make a move?
No.
That would be awesome.
No, that would be awesome.
Phil gets it.
I do.
You move the cursor, it just.
Yep. Yeah, Dig Dug music only played when you were moving your character.
There's no Dig Dug music.
No.
In this, which is a big miss, I think, because that's actually a song. Yeah, but
yeah, it's
the volume is what really gets me. Even on the lowest setting, before you just mute it altogether, it's still too loud.
Yeah. But yeah, those tunes were not meant to be played for an extended period of time. They were certainly not meant to be played while you're trying to figure out logic puzzles.
No.
Whereas, like you mentioned Outrun a minute ago, and I mean the music, the tracks in Outrun are really long.
Oh yeah.
Like if you listen to those separately, they're quite long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the same can be said for a lot of the Sega games in the mid '80s. So yeah, way more suited to this sort of thing.
And you know what? Like the Outrun music, it's kind of chill. It's kind of it's meant to just be kind of like we're laid back, we're driving.
Yeah, arm out the window, playing some Picross.
Yep.
While the other person's driving.
It works. Yeah. And I've seen I was complaining about this on the old Blue Sky, and some people.
There's another game with long songs in it.
What's that?
Daytona.
Oh, Blue Skies. Yeah, I gotcha. And yeah, people were just like, "Oh, I never have the music on in those games anyway. I turn those off and listen to podcasts
which I'm
or whatever."
Surprised about because the music in it's
the Jupiter Picross games music. I mean, I'm not gonna poo-poo anyone who wants to use Picross as an activity to do while you're listening to a podcast. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But the music in those Jupiter Picross games is really good.
Yeah, I usually enjoy it.
Yeah. And
they dropped the ball.
Yeah.
On this one.
And this one just does not. No.
I mean, considering if you have Bandai Namco, you have like this Namco sound team.
Yeah.
You could pick anything from there, maybe. I don't know what the licensing kind of restrictions would be, but why did they pick those 6 tracks?
I mean, I get that they, because the artwork that you are revealing in that game, it's all old school Namco stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't want to have, because like I was thinking about it and like the soundtrack from like Mr. Driller Drill Land. That soundtrack would work really well, I think, with Picross.
Yeah.
But
then
that's a
you
relatively new game, and these
you
are the
pair that with
old.
the sound balancing though, and the whole it's just not a good choice.
It's a shame.
Fair.
And yeah, this is the first time where I've shut the music off in this game, and I've just turned on YouTube videos and just I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I watched the Star Wars Hotel video a second time while I was playing Picross, but
you're not saying you didn't.
I mean, I guess I am saying that I did. I'm saying I put 4 more hours into Namco Picross and spent that time listening to the Star Wars Hotel thing again.
I gotta say, puzzle selection wise as well, I was pretty disappointed with the first page, the entire first page.
Yeah.
Being just like obscure score readouts and
Yeah.
whatever. It was like,
look, man,
okay.
It's 10 by 10s, it's 5 by 5s.
I know. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, the
about
Sega
that?
one was the same, wasn't it? The very earliest puzzles.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Were like,
power
up
it's
icons.
Sonic's rings.
Yeah.
I have completed the second page and I'm on to the third now, and I'm actually like,
Have you done any of the clip Picross yet?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a great game. It's Picross. It's not going to be bad, but
excellent.
The problem here is the sound.
A rare miss.
Yeah.
But only in the music category. So if you're one of those people who don't typically listen to the music while you play Picross, you're fine.
Yeah.
And if you're like me and you normally really enjoy the Jupiter Picross music,
me too.
I got some bad news.
I turned it off.
You're gonna have to find something else. Go load up a YouTube playlist of old Picross S soundtracks and enjoy that.
Yeah.
So, but that's it.
That's it.
And then it's just me watching the Astro Bot trailer on repeat, and I will say I've been tempted to the Astros was it Astro's Playroom? Was that the PS5 one?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been tempted to just start that over.
It's a quick play.
It's a very quick play. Yeah.
Like what, 8 hours maybe?
I don't even think it's that long.
Yeah.
No.
I've been tempted to just completely start over and just go through and collect all the little 100% it again.
Yeah.
For like the 3rd or 4th time. Such a good game. Boy, I can't wait. But that's it. That's what I've been playing.
All right. Phil.
Yes.
I've been playing some video games too.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I was pretty concerned. I was kind of hoping you had.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, last week we launched Humanity on Xbox.
Who's we?
Enhance. I work
Player
for
One
Enhance.
Podcast?
Me. My day job.
Oh. You have a job? What do you do?
About time.
Wow. No, we launched on Xbox. It's an Xbox Game Pass game and PC Game Pass, and it was great launching on a new platform again. And we had added some achievements for the user-generated stages, and seeing Xbox players hop into that stage editor and make new stuff and upload it. It's just great. It's like a whole new game every time we launch on a new platform, seeing people do that and share their creativity with others. I love it. Anyway, go play Humanity on Xbox if you have not. And then I played a little game called Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, from the good people at Ilphonic and TerraVision Games. So this was announced a while back. And then Ilphonic is publishing. They're co-developing and then publishing it.
Yeah.
And of course I do love a lot of the games that Ilphonic makes, like Friday the 13th, the game, like Predator Hunting Grounds was real good fun for a little while there.
Mm-hmm.
And so Killer Klowns from Outer Space came out, and I originally wasn't sure about it. It's a asymmetrical multiplayer horror game. Team of 3 clowns versus 7 human survivor characters. And so I watched some developer videos, as watched some of the game playthroughs, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna jump into this because this reminds me of Friday the 13th, and boy, is it ever reminiscent of Friday the 13th
Oh yeah.
in all the best ways. Just like the crazy stuff that can happen. Yes, the glitches that can happen as well. And it technically doesn't come out until Tuesday, but they did a thing that a lot more companies are doing now. That if you pre-order, you get 7 days early access.
Oh yeah.
So I pre-ordered it and got access to it on Tuesday, and I've been playing it and enjoying the hell out of it. During this pre-order period, you can't actually specify which side you want to be on, clowns or humans.
Yeah.
Which actually I think is good because you get a more balanced experience, and I'm actually loving playing both sides of it now. If you're humans, you have a team of 7, and it's like Friday the 13th with survivors. You're entering houses and different complexes that are in the maps and looting as many supplies as you can get. So weapons or keys to exits. Each map has like 3 or 4 ways to get out, and each one can accommodate 3 players. So you have to gather things like keys or a gas can or fuses, things like that, and then actually use them on the exits and all of that stuff. All the placement of the items, all the exits and everything are randomized, which is fantastic. And then as the clown side, obviously you have to kill humans. You can kill them, or you can turn them into cotton candy cocoons that then you use to power these lackey generators. So these lackey generators will generate little NPC characters that'll hunt down humans for you, which is quite nice. And then in these 15-minute games, if everything goes down to the wire, the clown apocalypse is going to happen. And if the humans are not able to escape before the timer runs out, then the clown apocalypse just like eats up everybody, and all of humanity is dead. So yeah, but it is a super fun game. I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah, playing both sides, humans and clowns. I uploaded a couple videos of some successful games that I had, either escaping or killing all the humans. So yeah, it's good fun, and it really reminds me of the early days of Friday the 13th, the game, which is one of my favorite gaming experiences. So having a lot of fun with this one. I'm watching a lot of streamers play it as well. And when the game comes out, they're going to allow you to set a preference whether you want to play as clowns or humans, as well as fix some of the bugs that are present and maybe rebalance some of the weapons. But I'm already having a good time with it. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It is scratching that Friday the 13th itch.
When is the last time you've watched the cinema classic Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Well, I'll have you know, Phil, that I have never seen
Oh my
Killer
gosh.
Clowns from Outer Space.
How are you following the plot?
It's a multiplayer game. There is no plot unless it's called Concord.
Oh my goodness.
They don't have weekly cinematics in this one.
Well, I think you have some homework to do this week.
Apparently I do. Yeah. Killer Clowns is available on iTunes. So
Absolutely it is.
yeah.
I haven't seen it in quite some time.
I have not seen it at all. I've seen clips, obviously.
Right.
I've seen maybe the trailer. But,
Okay.
but that's it. You recommend it, though.
I didn't say that. I said
Yeah.
I have, you know what? I have no idea. I'll be honest, I wasn't that into it even back in the day.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, it was I'm no horror connoisseur.
Uh-huh.
But, I do enjoy a good novelty movie. Certainly did back in the day.
Sure.
So I watched Killer Clowns and Ghoulies and Critters and The Stuff and
Oh,
you know,
classics.
all of those. And, you know, there were ones that I liked more than the other, even back then. And I really haven't seen any of them since kind of the heyday of those. I don't know how well any of those hold up, if at all.
Yeah, probably they don't.
I did recently purchase on iTunes because I saw it was on sale. The remake of The Blob, which I think was 88.
Yeah,
I think it was the 88 version of The Blob, which I loved back in the day, and I haven't sat down to watch it again now that I purchased it, but I'm really hoping it holds up.
I see.
I loved that movie back in the day.
I have not seen that one either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was, I mean, I will give you that one as a tentative. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I really enjoyed it back in the day.
Okay. All right.
But again, maybe, you know, maybe it doesn't hold up as well as it did when I was like 13.
A few things do.
True.
That are from that time.
I also loved the Critters movies back in the day.
Oh, I've never seen any of those either.
Oh, really?
Except for the trailers.
Okay.
I enjoyed them quite a bit.
Even
just the trailer.
The first two I liked. They fell off after Critters 2.
I see.
I remember that. So.
All right. Well, I also played a little bit of Dead by Daylight this week.
Okay.
Because I was in an asymmetrical horror game mood.
Yeah,
I suppose. And I've tried Dead by Daylight a bunch of times and never really got into it, but I don't know, something maybe I gave it a little more leeway this time to capture my interest because Killer Klowns was about to come out. And I ended up enjoying myself quite a bit. And I ended up buying the Ash Williams skin.
Yeah.
So I could be Ash in Dead by Daylight as a survivor. And I'm tempted to buy the Nicolas Cage DLC because it's only $5 on PlayStation.
Wait, is it just...
tempted. It's just Nicolas Cage.
It's not like him as one of his characters.
No, it is Nicolas Cage, the actor.
Okay,
yeah.
so you can be Ash from Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Like you're not Bruce Campbell. You're Ash.
Ash.
But this is just
Nicolas Cage.
Just Nicolas Cage. Okay.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay. Speaking of Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Oh,
I noticed
Nick now.
Wow.
I noticed on the Switch eShop, and I'm assuming this is coming to other systems as well. But
do they have a AAA clock Nick Cage edition? I mean, you mentioned the eShop. That's got to be.
I mean, that is a good 80% of the eShop.
Yeah,
is AAA clock variants
every week.
Yeah,
some new AAA
always
clock
some new bundle.
Gotta
clog up those new releases somehow.
Yeah.
But no, in the coming soon section, apparently there is a game based on that Nick Cage movie that is a Five Nights at Freddy's knockoff.
Right.
Like Willy's Wonderland?
Yeah,
I want to say.
Right. Yeah.
But yes, they made a game.
Oh, what does it play like?
I mean, it looks like from the screenshots.
Plays like Minecraft.
It looks a lot like AAA clock. It's weird. Now it looks like a crappy like Streets of Rage beat 'em up type.
Oh.
I can only imagine it is horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah. But they're making a game based on the Five Nights at Freddy's Nick Cage knockoff.
There you go.
So, Game Club? Game Club?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've been playing. So, Greg.
Fully for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I finally started playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Oh,
today actually. I started playing it today. Because I felt like I should have something to talk about. No, but I was super happy that this has come out. I count Thousand Year Doors. I love the Paper Mario series in general, but Thousand Year Door is my favorite. Although what was the Origami King is the one that came out on Switch previously.
Yep.
Yes.
That was really good.
It was.
But anyway, yeah. But I haven't played it since it was new, which was about 20 years ago. And so the only real memory I had of it, I didn't have any real memory of specific events in the game as much as I just remembered loving the game in general. Right. So I played, I don't know, maybe an hour, 2 hours today. And I'm having so much fun. It's so good. This game is so good. And it really, really holds up. It's like the writing is really funny, which it's always been like a sort of one of the hallmarks of the Paper Mario series and the Mario RPG games in general. To be honest, like the Mario and Luigi stuff on Game Boy Advance and the DS had the same thing going for it. But I'd forgotten, like, the Paper Mario games with the combat. It's always been very interactive. Like, and you see that almost immediately. Like, anytime you have to jump on a character, it wants you to press the A button again. When you hit them, then you can possibly get a second attack. Like when you start off with your hammer attack, you're holding the L stick to the left until a bar builds up, and then you get a stronger attack and things like that. And when enemies attack you, you have a chance to block or to at least guard against it. All sort of a very arcadey, almost quick time event style attacks. That's always been a thing. And I think that's been a thing in the Paper Mario games since the first one on the N64. But I'd completely forgotten about the crowd system in Thousand Year Door. So all the battles in Thousand Year Door look like they do take place on a stage. And pretty quickly you get taught about the crowd system, which is to say that the better you're doing in your battles overall, you actually see seats down in front of the stage, and they begin to fill up with just sort of random characters in the game. And the crowd gets bigger and bigger the better you're doing, which gains you some, I think they're called, I want to say not fame points. Maybe they're just crowd points. I don't know. It's one of the points in the game that will unlock special attacks or special events, not necessarily always attacks. But there's also an element of sometimes they'll actually throw things. You'll see characters down there in the crowd that'll be holding things. And sometimes those will be coins or power-ups, but sometimes they'll be like rocks. They're going to throw at you and actually hurt you. So there's an element of that where it wants you to press the X button to go out into the crowd and get that person out of there. But it's a really cute system that I had completely forgotten about somehow. And one of the things, and now that I'm playing it and remembering that this happens, and I actually had this happen tonight, I think they play with it a little bit later in the game. I want to say that previous bosses actually show up in that crowd sometimes. And I know for sure, I saw today, I actually had Luigi show up in that crowd at one point as well. So it's cool. It's just like another visual gag. And because it's set up as a stage, also, if you do attacks that actually shake the stage a little bit, sometimes like the background will fall over and hurt the characters you're fighting. Or today I had a stage light fall from the ceiling and hit one of them as well. And, the game is so adorable. Like just bright and sunny and happy, and just love it. And there was another element today, and I guess this is a minor spoiler, but it's really early in the game, but it also reminded me again of one of the things that I love the writing and one of the things that I love in this game is you go into sort of in the first area outside of the prologue. It's actually chapter 1. You need to get to a castle. There's a dragon in a castle in the distance when you're running around in this place, Petal Meadows, it's called. And you need these two stones, these sun and moon stones, and they're in this fortress that's to the east of the little town you go into. And the way the fortress is set up is that there's sort of these areas in between these sort of boss rooms where you're just fighting regular enemies. But then you'll get into a room in the fortress where there's like two pedestals with two enemies sitting on top of them. And like you hit them with you hit the pedestal with the hammer, and the enemies jump down, and you get into a little bit of a boss fight. They're pretty basic enemies, and usually two of them, but this happens 3 times. And the first 2 times you're fighting enemies that you can't harm with regular attacks, and actually can't really harm with, I think, any real special attack that you have at that point. They're impervious to fire. They're made of stone. They're impervious to fire, or like they're so spiky you can't stand next to them to use your hammer. You can't jump on them because anything with spikes on it will hurt Mario if he jumps on them. So you have to use POW blocks. You have to have special items in your inventory to use POW blocks. So that's cool. And they're always, of course, because it's a Nintendo game, you'll always have a POW block. You can find one. They basically just serve them to you. Then you get to the third room, and it's a thwomp sitting on a single pedestal. And so, you've already been programmed to, well, here's another thing. I'm going to have to use like a special weapon against this guy to open the next doorway. So you go up and you hit the pedestal, and he comes to life, and he starts talking to you, and he really builds up to like this big battle you're about to have. And then out of the blue, you're in like a game show setting, and the big battle is a quiz show where you have to get 5 answers right, or if you get 3 wrong, it says you're going to be in a world of hurt. If I remember correctly, I don't think anything really terrible actually happens to you if you get 3 wrong, but
you have to do another boss fight.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Because I did get 3 wrong, and I had to go through a fight.
But anyway, it is, again, like, it's completely unexpected. They don't telegraph it at all that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's suddenly happening. And it's so creative and so cute. And I'm completely falling in love with it. Like, an hour and a half, 2 hours in, I'm falling in love with this game all over again. Like, I'm so happy they remade this. I'm so happy that it gives me any excuse to just play it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, just loving it. The one other thing that I meant to mention, and I mentioned that I got this kit a while ago, but I also converted my N64 controller today using an 8BitDo controller kit to a Bluetooth N64 controller that I can now use on my Switch.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
Huh.
So all I did was open the controller up, take out the old board in there, and the old analog stick. If anyone's watching this, you probably see this is more of a GameCube style analog stick now. Mm-hmm. And then just put the new board in, put this new analog stick in, and then the memory card slot is actually converted to a slot to hold this 8BitDo. Basically, I'd say it's the transmitter, and it also has the standard 8BitDo buttons on it. So the heart button and the star button and the pairing button and everything, and the USB charger, because the battery is on the board in here, and you just plug that in, and yeah. So I just turned it on and connected it to my Switch, and now I can play the N64 games using an N64 controller.
Nice.
And I have an N60. I have a receiver that will plug into an actual N64 coming hopefully in the next couple months.
Oh, cool.
That's the main reason I wanted to do this, is I wanted to be able to play my N64 games
on original hardware.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
Cool.
So I did that, but it was super easy. It just popped out, and you just plugged in the analog stick to the board and put all the membranes and buttons back in the right place, and yeah, it was really easy. It took about 20 minutes, maybe not even that long.
Wow.
And it only took that long actually because I forgot there were 2 little screws hidden in the memory card slot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which thank God I didn't force it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing is Thousand Year Door. I was playing Hellblade 2 a couple weeks ago. I have not felt compelled to go back to it. Which I think because I didn't pay anything for it, because it's on Game Pass. Not feeling compelled to go back to it means I'm probably not going to go back to it, because I don't feel like I'm wasting any money by not playing it. We were having that discussion yesterday as well, where it's like, I feel like if it's a game that I've paid for, if you've paid almost $100 for it, then the game has a few hours to impress me. Keep me going. Like I think back to some of the early PlayStation 5 games. There was that one rogue-like game early on that I was really bad at, but I bought it. I had bought it, so I felt compelled to keep trying it, even though I was never getting any better at it. Returnal, that's it. I wanted to like that so badly, but I'd also paid for it, right?
Yeah. Right.
But like with Hellblade 2, I'd say any of these games that are on these services, if you don't hook me in like an hour, I'm probably not coming back. So I guess that's sort of the double-edged sword of games being quote unquote free on the service like that. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be playing it anymore. I don't necessarily dislike it, but it just wasn't doing anything for me at all. It felt too much like the last game. And the thing that made the last game groundbreaking and unique just makes this feel like I'm playing the last game. So doesn't do anything for me. So yeah. So on to Paper Mario, which is the one I was more excited to play anyway. So.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice. All right. I guess that means it's time for tweets. All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Deeb, who says, if your life depended on you having to beat any video game with 1 CC, i.e., there must be a game over/fail option, and there's a finite end to the game with no cheats and default difficulty, which game would you choose, and how do you like your odds?
Streets of Rage 2, 100%. My odds are 100%. Because that game is real easy on the default difficulty.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Mega Man 2, probably.
There's another one.
Yeah.
I think I would pick Super Mario Brothers 2.
That's a good one, too.
Because I go back.
Easy to get a lot of one-ups in that game.
It's easy to get a lot of one-ups, but I go back to that game pretty often, and I'm able to finish it without an issue.
Yeah.
Certainly nothing modern.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I could do that without dying.
Well, I mean, you're allowed to die. You just can't get a game over.
I could do that without a game
One
over,
CC
too. I could probably do it without dying as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Let's do this one from hacker alias Namava, who asks, you're individually tasked with creating a multi-hour video game documentary. The catch is it can't be about a title or series that you're a fan of. What are your documentaries about?
The Pioneer Laser Active.
Wait a second.
Are you telling me you're not a fan of the Pioneer Laser Active?
It wasn't when I made the documentary.
Can't be about something you're
a fan of.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I would.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I would be interested in a video game documentary about, and I'm not a fan of this series, Madden Football.
Really?
Just because I feel like that is a game series that has gone all the way through the generations and might have some interesting stories associated with it, especially
that's probably true.
The making of the original and, getting John Madden as the spokesperson for the game and the announcer stuff later on and everything like that. I think that would be an interesting documentary topic. Yeah. I'm certainly not a fan of any of the Madden games. I think I've only played one. So.
Which one?
It was like 93 or 94.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say maybe like the fighting game community. Which, is a world about which I know nothing.
Yeah.
I'm obviously, the most casual of fighting game players.
Yeah.
But I think a kind of deep dive, and there may already exist such a documentary. I have no idea, but I think it's a fascinating world. The people who are like super hardcore into fighting games and the community that has built up around it. So, yeah.
I would love to because I would love to see a documentary about the rise of like Souls games. Just because it felt like to me that when those games first began appearing, they were they should have been a very niche product.
Yeah.
And they ended up being popular on a mass scale that I really didn't expect. And I would just love to see a sort of a breakdown of that and some theories as to why that happened.
Yeah.
I think that would be really fascinating.
To me, well, I'm going to go ahead and try to answer your question. Not knowing anything about that, but
this
I feel
is CJ's multi-second documentary on
multi-second documentary. I feel like with the Souls games, you had From Software, a niche publisher, niche developer that made Kingsfield. You'll remember Kingsfield back from the PS1 days, right? Very similar, sort of
moderately popular
in Japan. I don't think popular in the US at all, really. I think they made 4 of them or more. But I think in the case of From Software, in the case of Capcom with Monster Hunter, in the case of Sega with Yakuza, they just had a formula and they kept iterating on it in multiple sequels, multiple games until it was a little bit perfected.
So you're saying Kingsfield was the birth of the Souls genre? Is that what you're saying?
I think it is. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Interesting.
And similarly, how Monster Hunter has just, never been popular in the West until later, but they've just been iterating on that formula over and over and over again until they perfected it. Same with Yakuza, where I feel like they've done enough games where it's just like they have perfected the production of those games.
I see that.
Souls, but the difference with From, starting with the first one that really got popular here was Demon Souls, and then, or I'm sorry, is that right?
I don't know.
And then Dark Souls after that. Like, the problem with what From was doing was they had a deal with Sony for Demon Souls, and then Bandai Namco for Dark Souls, and then Activision for Sekiro, and like they kept making the same game but with different publishers.
But I guess the thing that I'm more interested in, I mean, that's from a game development and refinement standpoint, and I do get that, and that is interesting. I've always thought From Software is really interesting anyway, because there are a few developers that are like that, where they just sort of have these, I always call it just passion projects, and they stick with them. Like, because another series that From stuck with for ages was Armored Core. And I don't believe that Armored Core was ever hugely popular, but it just had a really loyal base, and clearly the team or teams there felt very strongly about that series, right? Like, it reminds me of like Genki with like the street racing stuff, right? They just keep releasing these street racing games. But I get all that, and that's great. And the story of From Software kind of grinding away at this stuff that's not necessarily hugely successful, but sort of wanting to refine it and having the faith in it is definitely part of it. But to me, what I'm more interested in is that I don't know that the fact that they'd refined that system pretty well by the time Demon Souls and all that came around, but like suddenly it's popular, and suddenly there are Souls-like games like in the West, and I would like to understand the path that took, not necessarily from a development and refinement standpoint, but from a popularity standpoint, and like a theory as to why Western gamers just, to me, suddenly seem to click. And we're looking for more of that, and you're still looking for more of that, to the point that you're constantly hearing the phrase Souls-like. Now, like, I think that's really fascinating, and it's also a part of the industry that I'm mostly completely blind to, like, because I'm not part of that group. I don't care about those games so much, but I think their popularity, conventional wisdom when they got popular would have dictated that they didn't get popular. So that's what that's more what I'm interested in, is sort of an investigation of the market. I'm interested in that too. Yeah. I'd watch the hell out of that documentary. Yeah. So when are you making that? No, we'll wait for NoClip to do it. Maybe NoClip's already done it. I don't know. They may have. All right. I think that's a good place to stop, since we spent a lot of time on that last week.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on various social network services, definitely Threads or X. Or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Stewart. You'll find Generation 16 episodes there as they happen. You'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about on this episode. And you'll even find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Spotify. We're on the Stitcher? No, we're not on Stitcher. That's not a thing. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. Or you can watch us live most weeks on the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Twitch.televisions, all over the darn place. Just follow one of our many social media accounts to find out when we do our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday evenings at 5:30 Pacific time. So join us. Won't you? And if you like what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. We will take that money and invest it in a series of documentary films about the making of John Madden football, about the grand fighting game community, about the rise of the Souls games. All three stories combined in individual films.
You'll be surprised at how they all connect.
And the stories will converge.
This show, they connect on this episode of this show.
In the Player One cinematic documentary multiverse.
That's right.
The stories will astound and amaze you. And it can only happen with your Patreon dollars. We make no guarantees about the films being finished. What we will absolutely use your money for, though, is in the upkeep of the show, keep us streaming and all that nonsense that we got to do, that CJ has to do.
Yeah.
To keep the show afloat. But I'll tell you what friend owes. We give back as much as we take. Maybe even more so. Because I'll tell you what, if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode. We record it right after this, where we play games, we crack wise, we have fun doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. We have CJ.
Yeah.
Do we have a game for this week?
I don't know. What are we talking about this week, Phil? You chose it.
Good thing we're all done.
Now you
prep.
broke the narrative. I know we don't have a game for this week because we're talking. We're going to be discussing. This is going to be one of our little extra bonus discussion episodes that we've been doing lately. We're going to be talking about import video games and import video games that we wish had been released over here in North America, but tragically were not. So if you want to listen to us talk about Japanese games, come join us in the after show, and we hope you enjoy. And I'll tell you what, if you have a couple bucks left over, why don't you go to patreon.com/Greg Stewart, where you can help support Greg's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite runner-up and the laser active Generation 16.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are a supporter of the $5 variety.
Also cheap.
Good evening, Satan.
And a good day to you as well, Gregory. It brings me pleasure to see you again. I've spent this whole past week contemplating your pinch points. And I have come here today to observe them in person, and let me tell you, the devil like what he sees. Pinch, pinch, pinch. A pinchy pinch.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're very welcome. Yes, you should take that with all the praise that was intended to convey.
It's been a disturbing exchange.
Pinch points. Good night, everyone.
You get access to the Weekly Commute, which is a weekly vlog series I do about the creation of the show and all the other videos that I'm working on. Also, if you are an early access patron, which is a $3 to $5, depending what tier you decide to be part of, you've already got access to my latest video. Went up this weekend. It's all about the Sega CD.
I gotta watch this video. I haven't watched it yet.
Please consider supporting the show.
There you go.
I got to pay for this Adobe suite somehow. Holy crap, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. And they do subscriptions now. You can't just buy Adobe stuff.
Yeah, they you can't just buy it.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo, I say unto thee.
I agree.
Ugh. Is that it?
That's
That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. CJ,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Phil.
Absolutely. Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
Absolutely. And of course, a big old thank you to you. Yeah, you. Our wonderful listeners. Every single darn one of you. As always, remember, please take care of yourself, your loved one, your family, your friends. Do what you got to do to be safe. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself, man. And we hope to see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.